Well, here we are back for some more fabrication on the car trailer. I am going to lengthen it 18 inches, and I have a much more robust winch to mount and a new winch box. And here is the struggle of moving this trailer in and out of this spot, which it's a good spot, it's out of the way, but I do struggle with backing it up. And as you can see, my trailer lights are not working, which I will delve into that a little bit later as to why. But I pull it up on the concrete so I can weld and cut and grind and things and whatnot. Just began my trailer extension project. I'm lengthening the trailer by 18 inches. That should help me out significantly. Follow along, see what I do. In order to lengthen the trailer, I first have to undo the aluminum ramp slides that I put on last summer. So here I am drilling out the rivets for that project. You'll note as this video progresses that I go from toboggan, sweat jacket, to t-shirt and jeans, to shorts. It was, you know, springtime in Indiana, the weather's crazy, so till it stabilizes we get all kinds of crazy weather. This has been a good little trailer. If you watched the first Extreme Trailer Makeover video that I did, I purchased this trailer off of Craigslist for $400. It was pretty rough looking, but I did see the potential. And I have done a lot of changes to it since then, so to make it my own and to make it work well for hauling my car. This is kind of a long, tedious process, but it was a necessity to cut the back of the trailer off and not damage my ramp slides. Here I am with a little bit of persuasion tool because they were stuck. I had siliconed the center pieces together. Now that the side rails of the ramp slides are gone, it's time to unbolt the base part of the slide that I recycled from railing that I put on the front of our house. It was an internal structure piece that I did not use, so they were up in the attic and they were perfect for this job. And I do not want them to get bent, so I am unbolting them at the end. Alright, it's time to go to the point of no return. We're going to cut the tail end of this trailer off. I'm going to use my trusty Hitachi Sawzall. I know Sawzall is a brand name, but we'll call it reciprocating saw, I should say. Alright, now it's time to start welding my extensions on. I am going to clamp this angle iron on top and then use it to hold my extension in place and to keep it level with the existing trailer. This is an 18-inch section. I bought 2 3-foot pieces and cut one of them in half, and I'm going to use the other one for the winch box mount. But right here I'm just going to clamp it in place and tack it to begin with. There's really no need to get in a hurry at this point. I'm going to butt weld it and plate it. When it's all said and done, it'll be nice and strong. You might notice that I just cut through the wiring and everything. It was just easiest that way because I had run the wire inside the trailer rails, frame rails. Alright, double check, triple check. Now we're going to drag the welder out and stick it. This little 110 volt Eastwood welder has been a good little unit. I've got a lot of use out of it. Yeah, so I didn't put the camera behind me so you could actually see the weld, but you'll get to see some of that later on. Whenever I pull the welder around, sometimes the knobs will vibrate to a different spot and not on the usual settings that I like, so I have to make adjustments on the fly there, as you just saw. Since I'm lengthening it, I am adding a cross brace, and I was able to fabricate that and fully weld it before I mounted it into the trailer. It's really hard to stop on a project once I get rolling, and as you can see, it's nighttime and I've got the outside light on, and this will be basically my first time welding outside at night. Thankfully I have cool neighbors that don't really mind, and they let me have fun. But this looks kind of cool on film. Yeah, the welder's right in the way. I apologize there. That wasn't thought out very well. But I am welding the cross brace into place. As I had mentioned earlier, I'm going to plate the extensions where I've butt welded them to the existing trailer in a similar fashion that I did when I put the dovetail on the trailer shortly after I bought it. I'm going to make these plates, and right now I'm drilling my holes because I'm going to do some rosette welds to make a good strong bond. It's a lot easier to drill these holes on the piece before I cut it out into the individual little plates. I've already got them marked, so I know where to cut. So get all these holes drilled.
That's very kind of you to say, Tom.
It's a cool Saturday morning as I get ready to do a little more welding on the trailer. I'm going to use the grinder or the flap wheel and clean off the paint so I have bare metal to weld to. I'll get the welder pulled out in position, get it plugged in and fired up, and I'm going to get a paper towel and wipe the moisture off of the metal from it sitting outside overnight and being cold. I don't want to weld to wet metal. Now I'm going to start clamping the plates on so I can get them welded in place. Now we're on the passenger side. I've got the plates C-clamped into place, and I'm going to start welding them on. Of course, this is time-lapsed. I don't weld this quick. I'm actually welding a small square on because I had to cut right down the middle of the previous plate job, so I am kind of building it up so I can plate over the old plate, if that makes any kind of sense. And my wife just got home. She worked overnight, so I am stopping to greet her. She doesn't particularly like to be on films or camera, so If you look closely, you'll get to see a quick glimpse of her.
Okay, you have fun.
I did all my cutting knob noises already, so last night, so I would continue to play.
Oh.
Can you help cut? Just like the passenger side, the driver's side has the small square plates that I'm going to weld on before I put the larger plate over the top of both of them. And I have them clamped in place, and I'm going to weld them on. Alright, in my hand I have the plate with the holes in it for the rosette weld, and I'm going to clamp that right on top of the new piece I just welded on and the portion of the old plate still on the trailer frame. Form follows function, as always. It's not going to be the prettiest looking thing, but it will work, which is the most important part. A little bit further cleaning of the metal, I can paint them with it right away so I get a good clean weld. Now I'm going to keep the rosette welds filled in and get it all burning good. Getting everything clamped down good and flush. Now that I have the extension rails fully welded and plated, I need to put the floor in. And I purchased 2 pieces of steel online. I couldn't get the width I wanted, but I got the length, so I ended up cutting off the excess length and using it to make the pieces wider. So here I am tack welding the large piece into place on the driver's side, and then I will stitch weld it to kind of mimic what was on the existing trailer. And I use a lot of clamps so I can get things squeezed down into place where they should be. I think this part came out really cool. And you see me welding. And you normally couldn't watch that without damaging your vision. Introducing the completed fabrication of my trailer extension. Everything is fully welded and ready for paint. This trailer has been painted countless times in its 50+ years of existence, so I just brush painted the gloss black farm implement paint made by Rust-Oleum on previously, so that's what we're doing with this new part. We're just brush painting it on and making sure I'm getting good coverage so nothing rusts. Alright, let's head out and get some wiring done. Of course, when I cut the back of the trailer off, I just cut right through the wiring that was in there from when I rewired it after I bought it, and because I ran it inside the frame to hide it. So the easiest way was just to cut it, and of course my lights didn't work even before I cut it, which I found a piece of debris in the trailer plug and was able to fix that. But for this wiring, I'm extending it with some existing wire that I had stuck down in a drawer in the garage, and rather than running it through the frame, this portion I'm going to run underneath the trailer on the outside and just cover it with convoluted tubing. But for now, I am just quickly hooking it up so I can make sure that the lights are going to work before I completely dress the wiring. So far, the Extreme Trailer Makeover version 2021 has gone without a hitch. I have extended the back by about 18 inches, moved the ramp guides down, and am ready to load the car up so I can relocate the wheel chocks and get the winch mount box put on. Gotta love the weather. Yesterday it was sunny and 70. Today it's cold and windy. So I am going to reattach the side rails for my ramp slides. And since I had to move them down when I lengthened the trailer, I need to add a new piece as a stopper at the front. Beforehand they just butted up against an existing frame rail on the trailer. Well, that doesn't line up anymore because they're slid down, so I purchased a piece of aluminum angle, and I'm going to just rivet it right to the end. Just me drilling some holes or some rivets. Of course, I have really good neighbors. They're super friendly, and we always talk when we're outside, see each other, and that's what I'm doing right here. And I'm just working my way down the rails. At the end, they do slope down a little more than they did before, so I'm using a C-clamp to pull them snug so I can get the rivet to bite good. Yeah, I'm just taking my time here and make sure everything lines up good. Putting the finishing touches on the ramp slide rivet install. I did add a few new holes down at the end to hold it snug since it does slope. And now I'm going to test fit the ramps and make sure my chains work. I will need to lengthen those. Here is my first winch, my trusty Harbor Freight 3500 pound winch. It did pretty well. When I would get on some weird sloped ground, it did struggle. So it's time to upgrade to a much more powerful winch. I have since sold this little guy on eBay. Now I want this new winch to be mounted good and solid, so I am fabricating a brand new winch mount base that will also house a Harbor Freight trailer tongue box that I bought that I'm going to mount the winch inside of. I've taken lots of measurements, so I kind of knew what I was going with it ahead of time. So here I am marking places that I want to cut. And yeah, please don't be like me here, and please wear proper safety equipment to protect your vision and even your hearing, for that matter. I should know better. But I have it, the basic shape just tacked together right now, and just cutting off what I'm not going to need. Obviously this is time-lapse. Alright, now here we are in the floor. I'm going to tack some end pieces on, and locating where I want to put the winch mount. I did buy a store-bought bracket because it was just it was cheaper and easier to do it that way. And I'm going to permanently weld it down. First I got to clean off the powder coat. I really enjoy fabricating. You know, this is pretty fun for me. And right now I'm just kind of tacking things in place to make sure it's where I want it. And now it's time to finish weld it. I love watching this on video because you know I can't watch it obviously when I'm welding without proper safety gear. And as I'm working on this, I'm surprised at how much usage I'm getting out of the very tail end of my welding gas tank. The gauge it's on 0 about this point, and you know I know any moment now I could start having poor welds because there's no gas. So I'm just trucking right along. Now, doesn't everybody clean their welding tip on the concrete floor? You might have caught me just doing that. Now I'm fabricating some little end pieces to block off the opening of the square tubing. I don't want any holes for critters to crawl in, and I want it to be, you know, nice and have a finished look too. Alright, now I'm going to bring it outside and clean up some of the roughness with the grinder. So the box will sit nice and flush. And the winch as well too, on the winch mount. I want it to be nice and flush, not in a bind. Alright, now it's time to mark the bottom of the winch box for the hole I'm going to cut into it. Yes, brand new box, and I'm going to ruin it by cutting a hole in the bottom of it. Or at least ruin its use as a box. And I'm doing this outside to prevent a mess indoors. Alright, now it's time to remove the old winch and cut the mount off of the trailer since it was welded on, and put the new one on. Taking my time here because I am going to, or actually I already did, resell the winch and the Fairlead on eBay. And the covering is just an old red toolbox that I had. I cut a hole in the bottom of it, obviously, to make it a cover. But it's just going to go in the trash. Trying to be a little delicate with the wiring because I am going to be reusing some of the wiring, specifically the harness for the plug that I can plug into the back of my truck and run the winch off the truck's battery. Alright, now here's the reciprocating saw that I'm going to use to lob off the old mount. And I apologize, the camera's shaking a little bit because of the vibrations from the saw. Alright, here's the winch box, the new one with the mount on it. They're already welded together. I ran out of welding gas, so I did not get some of this filmed. I just went ahead and did it, off camera. But I buy my welding gas from Praxair. They have always done me right. And the slot in the back of the box is obviously where the winch cable will come through. Here I am taking extra time to make sure the box is nice and straight and square and centered and exactly where I want it. And I'm going to prep the metal, get the paint off so it will weld good. One last double check of my measurements, make sure everything is exactly where I want it. Now it's time to weld. It's pretty self-explanatory what I'm doing here. I got a paintbrush in my hand, I got latex gloves on, and paint can down in front of me where you can't see it obviously, and I'm going to paint this bare metal so it doesn't rust. And once again I'm using Rust-Oleum Farm Implement paint, gloss black. With the box and frame painted, it's time to bolt the new winch in place. And I present to you the wired up, mounted and installed 13,000 pound winch. It fits down in this box really nice. All the wiring has been put in its place, nice and neat. And here I am testing the winch cable. I'm using the plug-in joystick. There is a wireless remote that I have since discovered works well. I don't have video of it, but it works great. Now I am wanting to load the car up on the trailer so I can find a position, the new location I should say, for my wheel chocks that I have fabricated. And this is a little tedious process, especially do it by myself. Now that I know the remote for the winch works, I can stand by the car and do this, so it'll be a little easier. I won't have to walk back and forth to turn the wheel as it's going up the trailer, which is what I'm doing here. But it did just fine, pulled it right up on there like it's supposed to. And I'm getting close to where I want it, so I keep stepping back and checking on it, making sure it's where I want it. I don't want it too far forward, I don't want it too far back on the trailer. You know, it is going to be back a little more, which should help with hauling. I won't have so much weight on the tongue. Alright, now I'm going to put the wheel chock in place and mark the trailer with a Sharpie. And I'm going to do both sides. Just more out of curiosity, I am going to put them in the same exact spot, but I just want to see if they will come out the same. And then they ended up coming out exactly the same, which is good. Location-wise, they came out the same. Really, the last project to do on the latest trailer upgrade is to weld these wheel chocks into place. And I made them out of 2-inch angle and a piece of 3-inch flat stock that I had. Just stuff I had here. I didn't buy anything. They will work just perfectly, and I'll be able to put the car in the same spot every time on the trailer. You know, I know they're not necessary, but I like having them on there, and I debated what to do with the old ones, which are right under my hand in this shot. I decided just to leave them on there rather than taking the time to cut them off. Either way, you're going to be able to tell they were there, whether they're there or not, because of, you know, how I would had to have done it. Here I am cleaning off the paint, and it was brush on bed liner too, so that's why it's so thick that I put on, so I can get down to the bare metal and weld. And all this stuff is, you know, I'm trying to get it done in time for Cleetus and Cars, which is May the 1st. Which at this point is just a few weeks away, and I'm ready to go. Alright, the trailer project is currently done, and it's time to put it away. And this is where the struggle is real, because I have a heck of a time backing this sucker into this spot, but it's a great spot. I appreciate you watching my videos. Give me a comment, like, or subscribe, or share. I enjoy making these. I'd like to hear back from y'all to see what you think. I really appreciate it. You know, like I said, thanks again for watching. Can you talk for me? Are you not going to talk? Huh? You're not going to say a word, huh? Can you tell them thanks for watching? Oh, you normally meow all the time. Now, why are you being quiet, huh? Can you meow? Can you tell them thank you for watching? No, are you just going to nod? Huh? You're not going to say anything? Oh, come on. Come on. All right, well, I'll tell them for you. Leo the cat, Mr. 12-year-old this month, says thank you for watching.